In this video I have one of these little Atari Flashback 2 classic game console. Seems like a modern version of the old Atari 2600. And when I was a kid we had a 2600, play Atari 2600 retro favourites like Pong, Asteroid, Centipede and many other classics. So we actually had one and a few cartridges to go with it and had quite a bit of fun with it. Though some of the games got pretty boring pretty quick. But they weren't a bad little thing for younger kids to play around with. And probably the first sort of decent gaming machine that really existed. There's some like little Hanamex things and stuff which had like Pong and a few tennis games or whatever on them you plugged into your TV. And this was the first sort of system that really had some interesting games on it. A bit better quality. And yeah, there's a few of them there. Good old asteroids was always fun. You got a little spaceship and you shoot the big asteroids and they make smaller asteroids. They tend to speed up and you got little spaceships and stuff going past. What was that one? That was a something defense or something, missile defense I think that one was. Not sure what that is. Looks like two tanks. No idea what that is. Maybe that's a sports game or something. That's definitely a sports game. I was never a big fan of sports games. There were some sort of, I guess you'd call them early first-person shooters like Berserk and Asteroids was almost that. I think my favourite one was Sequest. I've actually played that recently on one of the emulators online. And that was a hell of a lot of fun. When you're in a submarine, sharks and stuff going back and forwards, you've got to shoot. And you've got to get air every so often, but there's other subs that go along the surface and blow you up if you hit them. And weirdly, this has even got a rating on it. E for everyone, mild cartoon violence. Pretty mild, alright, but I guess technically, oh yeah, the racing game, I can't remember what that one's called. Car racing was kind of fun, but a lot of them got very boring very quick on these early game systems. Ages 5 and up, 40 built-in games. The game that defined a the games that defined a generation, that's kind of true. Though we quickly moved from these sort of things into computer games on actual computers. Fatal Run, that one's called. Combat, Outlaw, Pong. Pong's pretty damn boring. You tire of that very quickly. And you really need like the paddle controls, I think. Don't know, I assume these came with paddles rather than just joysticks. You could play it on joysticks, I think. Yeah, Missile Command, I got that one right. Centipede, I don't think I ever played that on one of these. Lunar Lander. Adventure, we had Adventure. Someone with the little, yeah, the keys and the castles and the dragons. And you just wander around trying to get the keys and not get eaten by the dragons. And did you have to trap the dragons in something? I can't even remember what you did in that game. But it was okay. Yeah, Asteroids, like I say, you can have a fair bit of fun with that, even today. Flashback to the 80s, New Wave is in, Neon is hip, and the Atari craze is everywhere. Relive the Atari revolution with a Flashback classic game console. But all these are pretty much online as emulations, so you can play any of this online. I don't know about all these games, but more than likely they're all there, so you don't really need to buy one of these. Shoot through the chaos of Centipede, hyperspace through the galaxy and asteroids. Yeah, the good old hyperspace. You hit that to avoid getting hit by one asteroid and it just randomly places you on the screen to get hit by a different one. Do it all again with legendary games. Retro style, Flashback classic game console, 40 games. 2 joystick controllers, 1 power supply, 1 AV cable. I haven't even really checked if it's all there. So this is copyright 2010 Atari Interactive. So these are an actual Atari, is it? Is there still a company out there? Probably not the original Atari, I don't know. Maybe they're still going. Other trademarks. Made in China, of course it is. w.esrb.org. Visit, oh that's for your rating stuff. Do we have a website for Atari? It doesn't look like it. Oh well, let's unbox it. Looks new, cannot test, no return. He's right, it does look new. I actually know the guy at this tip shop. Used to, well, not really work with him. Went to TAFE with him. in some of the classes we did after the sort of apprenticeship thing, night courses. And yeah, had a few dealings with him. He was actually handy for getting quite a bit of good second-hand gear out of a particular company when it was getting chucked out. And he sent a few repairs my way and bits and pieces. Nice guy, actually. So I've got the instruction book. This really doesn't look like it's been opened much. What's it say here? Console specs. 120 volts, AC, 60 Hz. Well, I hope not. 9 volt DC, 200 milliamp. Connect the AC adapter, AV cable, turn it on. Yep, plug it in and turn it on if there's no picture. That always helps. Screen flickers, just the TV color controls. No sound, you know, the usual useless fault finding stuff. With 40 virtual game cartridges to choose from, so I guess it's menu or something. Adventure 1, still an enchanted chalice, that's right, hidden it somewhere in the kingdom. So white, black and golden castles. Oh yeah, bats and dragons. So there's actually another version of Adventure, a second one. I don't think anyone would have bought the second version after the first one, but maybe. Haunted House. Asteroids, Centipede, Battlezone, Asteroids Deluxe. Oh, there was an Asteroids Deluxe, didn't know that. Arcade Pong. Space Duel. Quad Run, Saboteur, Space War. I haven't heard of most of these. There was a lot of game cartridges that were never very popular. Rusty Staples, so it's been somewhere wet or damp. Yar's Revenge. Tic-Tac-Toe. Aquaventure. Unreleased prototype game from the Atari's vault. Combat. Dodge and Fatal Run, Frog Pond. Another unreleased prototype, so in other words they've released all their rubbish on here probably, but maybe I'm being a bit cynical. Human Cannibal, Maze Craze, Off the Wall, Outlaw. I think Outlaw was a somewhat popular game possibly. Oh, we've got a free ant running around in there. Radar Lock, Save Mary. Barnaby the Blackest taking a beloved Mary and put her at the bottom of a steep canyon. Video Checkers, Video Chess. And we've got Sports. Super Football, Baseball, Credits. Homebrew Author Submissions. So we've got all the bits by the look of it, but this has had a lot of ants in it by the look of it, so we might have scored an ant nest here. But for $5, God knows where someone stored this thing. But I didn't expect anything living to come with it. Let's check and see. Well, we've got a power pack under there. Oh, this is... I wonder if this was originally bought in America, because it does have a proper 120 volt one, unless they included both, so it looks like an aftermarket power pack. So let's hope they haven't blown it up. Oh, there we go. Pretty dusty. And yeah, dead ants, I think. That is aftermarket, I'm guessing. Switching adapter, multi-voltage, 9 volt, 200 milliamps. I think it said 200 milliamps, didn't it? Yep, 9 volt, 200 milliamp. I better give this thing a bit of a clean, I think. Okay, take two. Bit cleaner now. So the power pack. I think they feel something like the original. I forget how you really use these things, but I think we used to hold these in our hands. Of course, I had much smaller hands back then, so I can't remember exactly how we used them, but they certainly got a beating and they survived. And that's the other one, possibly never been used, but it may have been. Yeah, got the Atari logo on the back. but very close to the originals. They seem pretty authentic. Oh, we've got an AV cable hanging out the back, so the original one had an RF output, of course. Colour on black and white. I wouldn't have thought you'd still get a switch for that. Maybe that's just a little hark back to the original one. Controller ports, still got the DB9 connectors, nice to see. Oh yeah, power actually clicks on and off. Reset, I don't think it ever had a reset button. Oh, did they have, there was a slide button. Yeah, I love the old slide buttons. In Australia, I don't think we had many of these wood grain finish ones. Most of them had the black front, but I have seen the wood grain ones. But they seem to be quite rare. Maybe they were the slightly earlier ones. I think they came down in price. Difficulty select. Yeah, I think there's a power button, a reset button that just sprung down and flicked back up. Select, I can't remember the select button, but maybe... Was that something to do? There must have been some way of selecting options or something. So yeah, not too sure about the buttons. But I guess I should hook it up and see what it does. If anything, it may be dead. The fact the pins aren't bent on the original adapter is a good thing. Because if they'd been bent and that plugged in, that would have been the death of it, I would think. And it's actually got an Atari model KU28-9-200. But that's either the American or Japanese or something version. But I guess we'll see, do we have even, I don't think we've even got an indication this thing's got power. Left controller, right controller. I think one of these was a sort of primary one-player controller. Yeah, no sign it was on. I don't think the original ever had a light on it either. Ooh. That doesn't sound promising. Black screen and random noise, which doesn't come back. Ooh. Oh, now we've got weird lines on the screen and a hashy sound. Oh, that did something weird, or is that just random? Different line pattern on the screen, different noise. I'm going to just take it outside in case we have the mother load of ants in there. Well, bit of an anticlimax. Did all the screws fall out? Probably no. Other than I found that I had to stab a hole through the label. I guess that's your warranty void if seal broken thing. So there's a fifth screw there. Very little in this thing by the look of it. So it's probably a throwaway device. How's this board come out? What's moving with it? Oh okay, there's a panel coming out. I wasn't expecting that. So we're going to unscrew that panel, I take it. Probably that bit as well. Oh, we've got jumper 3 short equal game cartridge, jumper 9 open equals game cartridge. Some other stuff written on here, no idea what any of that means. But it says it's a flashback to Michelle. Not sure who that is. Oh, still no ant there, so at least we're free that way. So I wonder what happened to this thing to corrupt it. course it's got a little chip module on it, and that's probably virtually the whole thing, that little blob. Oh, there's another bigger blob. Are they your jumpers? Jumper 26. And there's jumper 3, jumper 9. Oh, there's a jumper 24. So yeah, probably not much we can do with this thing. Oh, there's a jumper 22. Jumper 28. Or is that just T28? So you can probably play around with some stuff on these. Yeah, some little jumper pads just in here, so they probably set some options. Little solder blobs across things. But if one of these blob chips has failed, well, that's the end of it, I think. I think that chip's soldered in alright. There is a little bit of flux and mess there. Now, do we have some sort of other... These would be a voltage regulator or two here, I guess. Because there's no way it runs off 9 volts. What is that thing? We have... It's just a 3-pin reg. So yeah, we've got a 7805 regulator. Well, that's easy to test. 4.9 volts. 9 volts in. You'd hope that'd be a little bit closer to 5 volts, but does that matter? Unless that's putting out some sort of rubbish. It's probably close enough. Is that connected directly to that ground? Yeah, looks like it is. What's this little thing? 3 volts. That's probably what you'd expect to run stuff these days. Now, do we have any fusible links or anything weird? The fact it's doing that much sounds like everything's probably powered up and running. Transistors are probably right there. Got a couple of electrolytic capacitors. I doubt they would have failed, but you never know, I guess. I haven't tried the colour switch. Point 1. 1 point. 2 point something. Only a little buggers, I think. 10 mic. Yeah, that's the same. 2 point something. One more over there. Very unlikely to be faulty, but you got to check these things, I guess. So capsule measure good. I mean, it does seem a little low, that 7805, but I don't think 0.1 volts is going to matter. We've got a crystal, which is more likely running. So it's probably kaput, unfortunately. What else can we check? We've got our 3 volts, we've got our 5 volt. Yeah, I think she's shot. That one's surprisingly quiet. Oh, what happens when we turn the colour off? I think we just killed it generally. So it's a bit random. Seems to warm up a bit or something and stop doing much. Oh, let's turn off the power for a bit. No, colour black and white does absolutely nothing. Yeah, this is the kind of random images you get. Loss of sync. Sometimes something comes up, almost looks like a video game. Cool. Yeah, that's almost looking like there's a game in behind there somewhere, besides lack of hold and whatever. Clean. Put the oscilloscope on the crystal. There's something random out there. And the oscilloscope will put capacitance in there and affect it. Well, I don't think we'll do much with that one. Oh, it's possible there's something weird. Check the voltage regulator. Doesn't seem to be any weird oscillations coming out of that or anything. Crystal could be off frequency or something. But more likely it's one of these chips has died. Sort of thing that tends to go wrong with these things. Which is kind of a shame, but I suspected this was got rid of because it was faulty, and unfortunately that's the case. It's only really good for the e-waste. Must admit, it's made me tempted to actually buy a working one now. Wonder if I could get a cheap one with no accessories or something. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, but yeah, I might have a look. See if there's any of these going cheap. They're not really worth buying, like I say, because you can play a lot of the good games online. So I'll see what we do with it. So thanks for watching.